Sure, many of you have already seen last night's game between the Seattle Sounders and Inter Miami at Lumen Field in Seattle, where the Sounders trashed, thrashed, smashed, just completely wiped the floor with Miami, at least in the scoring line. Miami had their chances, but we're not going to talk about that today. Not in this video. We're going to talk about what the rest of the world has been talking about, and I'm sorry to those Sounder fans who deserve so much more. And I'll make a separate video. We'll talk about it on Football Americas tonight, whatnot, how good the Sounders were. But the aftermath of this game. Luis Suarez, Sergi Busquets, Inter Miami players going rogue, going crazy, fighting players, fighting members of the Seattle staff. Let's start with Luis Suarez. Unbelievable footballer. Terrible person. What else can we say right now? Multiple incidents of biting on the field. The last one, Chiellini, if you remember in the World Cup. There was the stuff with Patrice Evra, the racist claims that Evra made against Luis Suarez. And now this, spitting on an individual, that individual by the name Gene Ramirez. And I was with the Seattle Sounders 8 years ago. Gene was still part of that staff, one of the sweetest people you will ever meet. And Gene trying to step in and protect Obed Vargas, a 20-year-old, because Luis Suarez is upset and riled up. And he gets in Gene Ramirez's face, steps on his foot so Gene Ramirez cannot move, and then has the audacity to spit on him. To spit, the most vile, disgusting thing you can do to another human being. And then there's Sergio Busquets, who comes in and lamely throws a right-handed punch at 20-year-old Obed Vargas. That's right, 37-year-old Sergio Busquets throwing a punch at 20-year-old Obed Vargas because they're upset that they lost. That was on the field. How vile and repugnant that was. What we saw off the field, you had Inter Miami fans and Seattle fans, these idiot ultras, and I don't know what the situation is. I don't know who's defending what and who starts what. I just see the images of chaos on the streets, and it looks like a riot. Over what? A game of football? A game of soccer? Why? Because these idiots on the field incited you off the field? Don't be an idiot. I can't tell you how disgraceful this is for the league and for players of such trajectory, such legend. Sergio Busquets is one of the greatest players that's ever played the game in that position. Luis Suarez is arguably one of the greatest strikers of his generation. And last night, abomination. And what's going to happen? Still no word from Major League Soccer. Still no word from Leagues Cup. Still no word from CONCACAF. Still no word from Inter Miami. David Beckham, Jorge Mas. I feel bad for Messi. Messi's like, I want to get out of here. What is this? Who's going to punish these individuals? And what's the punishment going to be? And will that punishment spill over like it could in La Liga? This is a Leagues Cup. So if the punishment is we're throwing the book at him, 10 Leagues Cup games, chances are Luis Suarez is retiring after this season. He doesn't care about Leagues Cup. But if it's like La Liga or Copa del Rey, where if it's more than 3 matches, those will be served as well. It'll affect as well La Liga matches. That could be something. Inter Miami have about 9 games left. Could you imagine if they threw 9 Major League Soccer games at Luis Suarez, or even more, and it spreads up, or goes through the postseason? That's a punishment. And the world is watching right now. They're watching Major League Soccer. They're watching Don Garber. Fans are watching. I think Inter Miami fans are also upset. They're upset at what they saw. This doesn't represent them, nor should it represent them. Major League Soccer fans, they've been upset for quite some time. They feel Inter Miami gets away with a lot. How are they able to bend the rules? How are they able to fit under the salary cap? How are they able to do certain things and nothing happens? Well, Don Garber had no problem suspending Messi for missing a business commitment. A business commitment. The All-Star game. What about this? This made headlines worldwide. Headlines worldwide. What are you going to do? What is Major League Soccer going to do here? Are they going to wash their hands and say this is a Leagues Cup issue? What about CONCACAF? What about Inter Miami? Jorge Mas, David Beckham. Tell you what, I wish I could sit here and talk about the game. Talk about how the Sounders did what many thought they could do because of the style they play in transition and how they were able to pick them apart. How Inter Miami had their chances and missed. How we could be talking about Lionel Messi in a final. We're talking about Obed Vargas, who did ridiculously. Christian Roldan was one of the best players on the field. The great Seattle crowd. But we're talking about idiots on the field and idiots off the field. I'll say this about Obed Vargas. The only thing I'm going to say about any player when it comes to the game. Obed Vargas, after the game, did an interview for our colleagues in Spanish and TUDN and mentioned Messi, mentioned Suarez, Busquets, all those guys, and said, I'm playing against my idol. I'm playing against these guys. Sure, I grew up idolizing him. But on the field, I wanted to beat him. In a day and age where these players are more worried about asking Messi for his jersey during a corner kick or after the whistle blows, after a team loses, going and taking their Sharpie for Messi to sign their jersey. Here's Obed Vargas saying, all I wanted to do was beat Messi. 20-year-old Mexican international Obed Vargas, Seattle Sounder Obed Vargas, Alaska's very own. That's his mentality. I applaud it. As for the rest, an unforgettable night.